Hi, I'm Rachel Abbasi. Welcome to the Recovery Daily podcast. As always, thanks for spending time with me. Hello, happy Monday. And it's nice to have a couple sunny days in Virginia. Today I made some sourdough bread. My husband got some new sourdough starter from Amazon. That's where we get our starter. I did try to make some starter, and then I missed one day feeding it, and it died. I probably maybe could have brought it back to life. I don't think so. Anyway, we got some sourdough starter that claims to be 400 years old, Dutch, and it's called Black Death. I know it's kind of sketchy, but anyway, I made it today, and it's delicious. And he got another one, and I don't know what possessed us to get two starters because now I have to do twice as much feeding. But the other one is, no, maybe that's the Dutch one. I have no idea. Anyway, one that claims to be 900 years old. So we'll try that, and we're going to see if they taste any different or we're just suckers for advertising. So I made some sourdough today and I made some granola today. I've been trying out different recipes to see which one is best. Do you put your oven at 350, 300, 20 minutes, 18 minutes? Do I want to put honey in it? Or do I want to put maple syrup in it? Or do I want to put half and half? So, anyway, I'm making some once a week and we're putting it in the Greek plain yogurt with berries. And I drizzle more honey on mine because I'm a sucker for some sugar. What else have I done today? I bought a new sewing machine. It's pretty fancy. It's a Singer Quantum Design. I think it's, no, Quantum Stylist. Singer Quantum Stylist 9960. And it is computerized. The last one I had was not computerized. So, I haven't sewn with it yet, but I'm very excited. I did just give it a little spin, and it's so quiet compared to my last one. My last one was like a basic sewing machine for like a beginner, and it has been perfect for me. But as I've been sewing more and more and quilting, and doing some clothing upcycling, I have noticed some features that I really wanted. And before we talked to the financial advisor, I thought that was a better time for me to spend the money on a really nice sewing machine. So that's what I did. So my mom and I, for those of you who follow me on Facebook, I have been posting like almost daily all of my crafts, and because I'm always getting into something. And so my latest one is, aside from the picture that I'm painting, which I'm making progress, and I've been posting that on Facebook. So follow me if you want to see how that's going. And so the I'm making another quilt, and this one is, my mom and I altered back and forth and made some 12 by 12 quilt blocks, whatever we wanted, whatever color we wanted, whatever design we wanted. So I have 8 of those, and I just designed a quilt that incorporates these 8 quilt blocks. So I'm super excited. Actually, I designed the quilt based on another quilt block that I saw online, and I'm like, I could make the whole quilt like this. So that's what I like to do. I don't like to follow patterns for anything, for painting, for embroidery, for quilting. I don't like following patterns. So I don't know why. I like to do it myself. Crocheting also. So Lost my train of thought. Oh, so I am designing this quilt, just like I designed the last quilt that I made for my son's girlfriend. So that's going on. And for my painting, one last thing, my painting that I'm doing, it's a gigantic canvas. And what I realized, I forgot that my husband bought a projector for me after I had my stroke, thinking that maybe I would be able to look at that instead of looking at a device that it wasn't, since it wouldn't have backlighting that like a screen would, that maybe it wouldn't hurt my head, but it does. So any kind of movement, it doesn't matter if it's on a screen or if it's projecting onto a wall, it hurt my head. So we have this projector, and I thought, that is brilliant. I'm going to use the projector to project the image that I want to paint, which not coincidentally, which the where I got the image that I'm painting is I had ChatGPT create it for me. So I explained to ChatGPT in very very detailed words um, what I wanted to paint. And it took about an hour as I kept instructing him, no, I want more pinks in it. I want more teals in it. The Weimaraner needs to be more sleek looking, not as hairy. So we did this back and forth for like an hour, and ChatGPT, Chatty McChatterton, created this image for me, and now I'm painting it. And so I projected that image onto the canvas, and then I was able to outline like where everything is. And so that's my progress on that. So, what's the topic today? Now that I've talked about all of my to-dos, and that wasn't even all my to-dos, that's just what came to mind. I won't tell you about how I went to the dog park this morning and Autumn met all these tiny little dogs. One of them was mean to her. We won't go into that. It was super fun. What I do want to talk about, the topic that came up for me in this morning's meeting, in the first meeting, was about so we read a story, and I think the story was one that I read in one of my other meetings last week. But anyway, because I I knew what happened in the story. So, I'm a little chatterbox today, aren't I? I'm just like blah 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 blah. So hopefully, you can keep up. So the meeting or the topic was one that I did last week, but what came up for me that I wrote down when I heard this same topic this morning was the story believe and doubt as much as I need to, was what the story said. I need to take a sip of my Pepsi. One moment, please. Okay. So I wrote down believe and doubt as much as I need to. And that really stuck out to me this morning because the previous day, yesterday, I was talking about my faith journey in my meeting. I was sharing in my meeting about my faith journey. And I went to church yesterday, and church is becoming really my happy place. Like I love it. I love it. I love to go there. And those of you who are new here, this as when we moved to this neighborhood is when I first started going to church like regularly. So um it's only been a couple months. And I went to the contemporary service, then I went to the traditional service, and I'm finding that I really like the traditional service where you sing the hymns and there's a choir up front and everybody wears the robes and everything. And I love it. It's my happy place. And I feel safe and I feel like I can almost like feel my whole family there with me. It's just like a trip back to my childhood. I just love to be there. So, um, I had been talking about yesterday in my meeting about how I just don't quite have that confidence in faith as I see other people have. Like when and I've mentioned this before, like when I hear somebody say that they are sure that they have felt the presence of God, it makes me feel like, I mean, how are you sure? How are you sure that you have felt that? And that's just me. And so I this came up again this morning as I heard that line, believe and doubt as much as you need to. And I was like, yeah. Because at that time that I heard that line being read, I was thinking, I was kind of in and out of focusing on what was going on in the meeting. And I was thinking about my old meeting in Charlestown. And there were some older folks that were in the meeting. And I was thinking, I wonder if they're still there or if they have passed. And as morbid as that sounds, that's what I was thinking. And I thought, I wonder because I put the people that have passed in my life, I like to put them in my concept of my higher power. It's like a bucket of God, people who have passed. Anyway, when somebody passes and they mean something to me, and I feel like I want to carry them with me, I put them into that bucket, that higher power bucket. And I thought, I wonder if this individual has passed. I wonder if I would know if they passed, if I would feel that they passed. And then I thought, no, I mean, why would I feel that? Anyway, so I was questioning this like sensing things and all of that. You know, I like to play around with thinking about those types of things because I've just met so many people in my life that have been like so confident in I sense this or that, you know, and I'm like, sometimes I roll my eyes and sometimes I'm like, I wonder if they do. I wonder if they really sense it. Anyway, as I was thinking this, that I wonder if I would sense it, I heard the line, believe and doubt as much as you need to. And I thought, yeah, yeah, that's what I'm doing in my recovery. I'm believing what I need to. When I had my stroke, I did not have as much progress in this faith journey as I have now because I needed to believe more. I was lost after my stroke. I was lost. And that's not to say I'm not still a little lost, but I was sinking, I was scared, and I was lost. I felt like I had no purpose. I was really afraid. And I chose to believe more, to lean into my faith more because I needed it in order to save me from sinking. So I chose it. Um, so when I heard this believe and doubt as much as I need to, it really rang true for me. And it has been because before I got sober, I had this concept of God, of a higher power, but I wouldn't talk about it. I would not say the word God, period. Um, that didn't come until like 3 years into sobriety did I even begin to start saying the word God, much less feel comfortable with it. I didn't feel comfortable saying the word God until after I started this podcast. And I tried to get myself to say it more and not be so scared. And as I was able to start saying the word God, I started to get more comfortable with my concept of God and my higher power. So, as the meeting went on today, there was a lot of shares that that aligned with this train of thought that I was going down. Another thing that I heard was to do what makes me happier. And it's like before I before I quit drinking, I thought that I didn't have a choice. And I've talked about that a lot. I felt like I didn't have a choice as to what what would make me happier. How can I articulate that? I thought that I was a victim of life and I didn't have a choice as to whether I wanted to be happy or not. I thought that, like, here's the plate, here's what life is serving you. And I look down at the plate and I think, okay, is this going to make me happy or is it not? I didn't understand that it was my choice as to how I want to consume what's on my plate. You know, everything, my reaction to things is my choice. And even if I have something really difficult going on, my stroke, my recovery, my chronic pain, I still get to choose what I'm going to do with it. I can still do what makes me happy, even when maybe I don't feel good. Um, I focus on I focus on what's going to help me live better. What's going to help me be better? What's going to what choice can I make right now that's going to positively affect me physically, emotionally, and spiritually? And one thing that came up today was the idea of making a living amends to myself. Um, and in the past, when I've thought about this, because I have made an amends to myself, I have given myself grace for the mistakes that I've made. I've come to an understanding of why I did the things that I did when I was drinking, the things that would be regretful or shameful. I have come to terms with why I made those decisions and I have forgiven myself. But this morning, I was thinking about the idea of making a living amends to myself. And so that's different. And I will try to explain why I think that's different. So, when I was making an amends and I was telling myself, I understand why you did these things. You were sick and you didn't understand this or that. You've gained the wisdom today to understand how in the future you would not make those decisions, those choices. And so I have forgiven myself. A living amends is that. part of me that still moves forward, the sick part of me that continues to try to pull me in the direction of depression and anxiety. The part of me that still sometimes wants to feel like the victim. And the part of me that believes that things happen to me, that that plate is served to me, and I don't have a choice about how I'm going to consume it. That person. I have a commitment to myself to show her each and every day how to consume the life that is put before me each day. Because there's a part of me that still has no idea how to do it. It's the part of me that doesn't want to get out of bed. It's the part of me that is scared of the unknown. The part of me that still feels a little lost sometimes when I'm going about my day and I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna make sourdough. I'm gonna take a shower this morning and listen to music. Believe it or not, I listened to music this morning. You longtime listeners know that my relationship with music had been challenged for a while after one of my friends passed away, but I have been slowly getting back into listening to music, and I know that music makes me happy, along this same lines. Like there's a part of me that didn't want to turn the music on because she was afraid that it was going to make me sad. And I owe it to that part of me to show her it's okay. You can do this. You can listen to the songs and you can build this relationship with music, this relationship to these songs that you love, whether they're love songs or happy dance songs, like you can rebuild a new relationship with music, but you just have to turn it on first. And so I'm guiding her. That is my living amends to myself to help guide. It's like there's two parts of me. I feel like there's 20 million. I got 20 million personalities in there. And I don't say that to make fun, but it feels like that sometimes. I have a part of me that pulls me towards being sad and is afraid. And then I have the other part of me that's like, come on, you can do it. Like you can do it. Just go anyway. Just put your feet on the floor anyway. Turn on the music anyway. When I make the sourdough, when I make the granola, when I take my dog to the dog park. Like there's a part of me that is afraid to even leave the house because I used to be afraid to leave the house when I was drinking 9 years ago, almost 10 years ago. I was afraid to leave the house. So there's like this part of me that remembers that. And I guess that is trauma. And I can only I can only guide her. I can only guide that part of me that remembers the trauma and say it's going to be okay. Let's just let's just do it. And I know from my experiences that I am going to be okay. But it's fearful, it really is. And who knows how long I'll always, am I always gonna feel Is there a part of me that's always going to be a little bit afraid of things? Probably, because that's a part of who I am. I think there's a timid part of me, and I kind of like her. I wouldn't want to be the person who is not cautious about things and just goes running off a building and jumping into a pool from 3 stories high or something like that. Like, I adore all the different parts of me, but sometimes there are parts of me that have to lead the other parts of me. Um, so I believe these things. I I choose to come here and hit record and tell you about the way that my brain thinks through all of this stuff because I want I want to help somebody else believe that there's a solution. And the best way that I can do that is to wholeheartedly like just come here and open up that vulnerability and say, this is what I feel. This is the hard stuff. This is the stuff that aches in my chest right here when I'm alone, when I'm not recording. There's a part of me sometimes that questions everything that I'm doing in my life. Um, but I just do it anyway. And and I'm relatively happy. And I think that that's pretty good. It's pretty good because I didn't used to be relatively happy at all. I was very sad and very scared all the time. So this program is working for me. It's working for me with my sobriety, and it's working for me in stroke recovery, and it's been helping my anxiety and depression a lot. Let's do an update on the heart palpitations. I haven't had any today. Dare I speak too soon, but I haven't had any today. So that is positive. It's been like a month, I think. I think it's been several months now. It's been quite a few months. We moved here in October. It's January. The heart palpitations were pretty bad last month, but I'm not feeling any right now. So I think we are getting better. That's good. Um, I also don't know if I shared with you, and I'll end on this because I feel like I'm babbling today, which is fine. That, my daughter got in her car accident and she's fine, and her car was totaled, and I needed to find the title, if you recall that. Well, I just was sent the check for the totaled car and never received the title. So I don't know if the insurance company found the title without me or what happened, but the issue has been resolved. And I said to my husband, maybe the heart palpitations will stop now that that has been resolved, because I felt like when she got in the accident, that's when my heart palpitations really started. But it didn't stop immediately. But it's nice to just stop and recognize that I have not had a heart palpitation today. So, um, this was the babbling episode. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time.